Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. We'll get started in just a moment. All right. Welcome. My name is Mika, and I'm one of the co-directors of the San Francisco Disability Cultural Center. Thanks so much for joining today. I know we've really been through it this week, and I know my nervous system could really use some care. So we're really grateful to have Tan here for our first all bodies yoga class. Before we dive in, a few access notes. If you'd like more personalized captions from stream text, you can access them at dcc.page/captions. We will be using the chat for this event. As we know, some people require it to participate, but if this is a hurdle and you need to turn off screen reader alerts, you can go to video settings, select accessibility, and then unclick the boxes for public in meeting chat has been received. Today's program is a Zoom meeting, so feel free to turn on your video if you wish. And if you'd like to participate in today's discussion, you can use the chat or the emoji buttons or raise hand function and share verbally or with ASL. And if that's not accessible, you can unmute and share when Tan invites contributions. For tech support, you can message me or Emily through the chat, or you can email access@disabilityculturalcenter.org. This program today is presented by the San Francisco Disability Cultural Center, a collaboration led by Elsie and Lily Cox, Haven of Hope, with support from the Paul K. Longmore Institute on Disability at San Francisco State University. All made possible thanks to financial support from the City of San Francisco's Human Services Agency, Department of Disability and Aging Services. So that's all the access notes for now. Tan, thanks for leading us today. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you all so much for inviting me here. It's always so wonderful and an honor to be in community. So my name is Tan. My pronouns are they and them. And I am tuning in from Memphis, Tennessee. I am a yoga teacher, a family dementia caregiver, a single parent. I am a Black queer individual on this wild yet beautiful planet. And again, I'm excited to be here this morning. I'll speak for myself as far as like how everything in the world is landing in this moment. My heart feels cracked open and tender, and there's a lot happening in my nervous system, in my body, in my mind, and with my breath. And this space this morning is a reminder of how needed community and care is. And with that being said, I just want to I wanted to check in with the people who are here. I would love to know how people are feeling this morning, and that may be a word, it could be a color, it could be an emoji, or it could be a weather report. So I'm going to pause speaking for a moment, and I'd love to see what's landing or present for people in this moment. And if it's okay, I'll read things as they're coming into the chat. I'm from Owen. I'm seeing sometimes upset, fearful, angry, sometimes numb. Yes. From Capria, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, gray. I'm seeing overwhelmed. I'm seeing tired, holding on to peace and the things that bring me joy. Someone said pain. Someone said flooded area where the water is receding. Determined, faithful, dread and hope, heartbroken, and dysregulated, frozen, exhausted. I'm going to take a breath here. And again, thank you all for sharing. And oh, more things are coming into the chat. Disoriented in body and mind. Disassociated, very wary, and activated to protect. And again, thank you all for sharing what's coming up for you in this moment. And I just want to remind myself and the folks in this room that as a community, we have the tools and the space to hold all of the things, the joy, the fear, the weariness, the hopelessness, and that all of those things are valid. And that also the practice of yoga and movement and breath can be a tool to hold all these things and to move through all of these things. And with that being said, I think we will get started. So just a few house rules. And just want to let you know how I hold space and how I guide a yoga class strictly online, one way online. No is a full sentence. If at any point in time I am offering something that you do not want to do or can't do, and I'm putting that in quotation marks, or you simply want to say no, give yourself permission to do that. You can move in any way that makes sense from moment to moment, from breath to breath. Let's see. I have a plan for our movement practice today, but that may shift and change. Just practice discernment as we move together. Any tingling, burning, numbness, anything that feels electrical in the ankles, the knees, the elbows, the wrists, the neck, or the shoulders as we're moving, that is your body's way of telling you no, thank you. And I'll invite you to honor that. I will be moving from a mat. My mat is behind me. I also have a blanket that I'll be moving to my mat with as well. I have a wall behind me. And also there's a couch to one side as well. So I'll be using that as support. Not everyone is on camera, and I don't want to make assumptions about how people need to move. So if you would like, you could put into the chat if you want to stand, sit, or move from a bed. Or if your camera is off, you can move in any way that you would like. I'm trying to think. One more thing I would like to mention is that life is happening in the background, y'all. I have 2 children in my space who are in the next room over, who I think are making grilled cheeses. So there may be noise and talking. My mother, who has dementia, may be also moving through the space. You might see her in a little bit walk through. And I think that's really all I want to share. And I'm going to move back to my mat here momentarily. And I think I might have hit all the points, but if there's a way that you need to move and that I'm not offering a variation for that, again, the chat, you can utilize the chat. If you're able to come on mic or speak into the space or use an emoji, we can do that.
Hi, Tan.
Yes.
This is Emily. Just a brief access note for our captioner. The stream text captions have gone down. For everybody utilizing captions, please use the Zoom captions. And we can give a brief minute for our captioner to fix that, but it can often be hard to fix while the event is going on. So I would encourage to make sure you have the Zoom option on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I will move back to my mat. And I think that I am going to start seated this morning. And I know it's 9:15 a.m. on the West Coast. So maybe many of you are just now waking up, or maybe you haven't had a chance to move your body and things might still be stiff or resistant, or maybe you're still waking up. So we'll start out gently. And I'll invite you to either find an easy seat in a chair or on the floor or on a couch or in a bed, or even lie down on your back. So let's take about 30 seconds to arrive. I'm going to start out seated with my legs out long for the moment. And wherever you are, take a few breaths. And as you inhale, you can breathe in through your nose. And as you exhale, you can breathe out of your nose, or maybe sigh out of it. And then maybe one more inhale, maybe get a little longer or fuller. Then exhale. And then from here, I'll invite everyone to continue to maybe find your breath or acknowledge the breath in the next 30 seconds or so. And I'll encourage you as you inhale to maybe take in something that you need or breathe how you want to feel if that language lands. And use that exhale to maybe soften and feel supported by the earth, by the bed, by the chair, or by the couch. Know that just being here in the space, this space in community, is really all the work that needs to be done. And for the next 30 or 40 minutes, all you do is be present and breathe. That's perfect. And then from here, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And then I'll invite you, wherever you are, to maybe bring one hand to your chest or your heart space, or what you perceive to be your heart space. And then the other hand to the low belly, or you can touch into the earth or somewhere else on your body. And then send the breath there. Again, what is present for you in this moment? Whether that's the anger, disorientation, joy, fear, or exhaustion. Can you give yourself a few moments to breathe and be? Notice, if you can, anything or anywhere in the body or in the breath that you might be holding on or gripping to. And give yourself maybe permission to loosen the grip, the hold, even if for just a few moments. This may look like softening the jaw, letting the tongue fall to the back of the throat, softening the throat, softening the shoulders away from the ears, allowing your body, the back of the body, if you're laying down, to be held by the earth or the bed. The hips supported by the earth or their chair. And then you can stay here for as long as you'd like, or as long as you need to. You don't have to do anything else in this moment. But breathe and be. But if you like, you can release your hands to the earth or somewhere else. Open the eyes if they were closed. You can shift your gaze around your space. Maybe look around, take in colors, shapes, other beings, human or non-human, without the need to maybe attach a story or a narrative to whatever you're seeing. For example, there's Cheeto crumbs on my floor, my kids' art supplies. Not things that need to be shifted or cleaned or moved, but evidence that there are beings that live here who are breathing and who are moving and sharing the space. So notice what's in your space. Maybe give another breath. And then if, and only if and when you are ready, we'll begin to invite in movement. So wherever you are, feel free to adjust your legs. You can change the crossings. You can stretch them out. Do whatever it is that you need to do. Take a moment to move if needed. And then in your own time, when you are ready, if you're upright, inhale the arms up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling. If you're lying down, maybe reach your arms above your head. You could stretch your legs out. So big breath in as you get long or expand or lengthen in whatever way makes sense. And then exhale, bring everything back down. Maybe the arms come down to your sides and back to the earth, or you bring your legs back together. And let's do that 3 more times at the measure of your own pace. So as you inhale, you can stretch out or up. Maybe even look up if that makes sense. And then on your exhale, everything settles, comes down, relaxes. And let's do that for a few more breaths. Inhaling. And then exhaling. Maybe noticing what's happening in the body, maybe restricting or affecting how the body and the breath wants to move. And then maybe take one more cycle of movement or breath. But after your next exhale, pause. Maybe bringing the hands back somewhere on the body or on the earth. How are you feeling now in this moment? Maybe nothing has shifted, maybe something. And then again, you get to decide if you want to move or not. We'll move into a twist. And this is going to look different for everyone. So if you are on your back, or if you're lying on the floor, I'll invite you, and I'll demo this for a moment, to pull the knees in towards the chest as you're on your back. And you can bring your hands out to your sides and just let the knees or the legs fall to one side. Right? And if you're on your back, you can place a hand on your top leg. You can invite a movement into the shape by moving your head back and forth. Or if there's another way you'd like to find a twist on your back, I invite you to do that. If you're upright, whether you're on the floor or whether you're in a chair, I'll invite you to take your left hand and bring it to the right side of your space, either on the knee, the right thigh, or the right side of your chair. And then your right hand can come to your low back. It can come to the earth behind you, or it can come to the chair. But wherever you are, inhale nice and full if you can. And then exhale, turn the gaze towards the right if you're upright. And let's take 3 full breaths there. I forgot to mention, if you want to uncross the legs and do something different. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then inhale yourself back to center. This might look like reaching the arms overhead or stretching the legs out long, unwinding in whatever way makes sense. And then taking that twist over to the other side. So if you're following me, right hand to the left side of your space or left leg, left hand coming around. And then maybe the gaze following. If you're on your back, maybe the knees come back to center and you let those knees fall over to the other side. And then let's take 5 full breaths here. And if you're needing movement, you can always move the head side to side or do something different. Most of our cameras are off. You can do jumping jack. You can stand on your head. So take 2 more breaths. Maybe as you inhale, you get a little longer or a little fuller. Notice the capacity of the lungs, the breath. And then exhale, maybe you twist a little deeper or drop deeper into the breath or become more present of what's happening in the body. And then unwind when you're ready, inhaling back to center. That may mean stretching out long or stretching up. Maybe you look up if that feels okay on the neck. And on the exhale, let everything go. Let's take 1 cycle of breaths to be. Whether you're still on your back or you're seated, allow yourself to be supported and held here for just a breath. And again, you can stay here or wherever you are for as long as you like. But I'll invite you all to take a forward fold. So if you're on your back, this might just look like pulling your knees into your chest. You can bring your hands behind your thighs or around your calves, or you can pull your knees into your chest, right? Give yourself a squeeze. You may want to rock back and forth if you're on your back, right? If you're upright, whether on the mat or in a chair, you can fold your belly over your legs. You can reach for your toes. You can rest on your thighs. You can rest your forehead on the earth or on a pillow. I know I didn't mention props, but if you have them, feel free to bring in a pillow or a blanket to bring the ground up to you, or to find something to squeeze. And we'll be here for 5 more breaths, whatever that 5 breath looks like for you. Take 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, in your own time, if you're on your back, you can release the legs or the knees. If you're folded over from a chair on the floor, And slowly bring yourself back upright. This may look like walking the hands back towards the hips or up the legs. And take about the next 15 seconds to move what needs to be moved. This might look like shaking the head or going through the ankle, stretching out the legs or changing the crossing of the leg. There's movement and noise happening in space. Apologies. And then from here, let's work from the toes all the way up through the head, shall we? All right, so if the legs are crossed, so if you're in a seated position in a chair or on the floor, I invite you to stretch your legs out long. And if you're in the bed, hopefully you're nice and long, you're taking up some space. And you can separate your legs a little here. Go get supported, whether the hands are on the earth or you need to grab the sides of the chair as you stretch your legs out. Actually, if you're on your back, I'll invite you to take your legs up into the air and make yourself into a capital. Right? So stretch your legs out in any way that you want. And then begin to circle through the ankles, right? So just draw circles in front of you or on the ceiling. And these circles can look like however you need them to look like. They can be small as the toes turn in towards one another, or they can turn away from each other, right? You can do that, or maybe you can squeeze and open the toes, right? You can point one toe and then pull the other one back. So you can kind of make like this, I don't know, this like back and forth, almost weird pedal shape with the feet. But give the feet, the toes, and the ankles some love in whatever way makes sense. And if you can, maybe even look at the toes and the feet and then watch them like it's the most interesting thing you've ever seen. Because our feet and our toes do so much for us through our day. Whether we're walking or sitting. So let's take another moment. And of course, you don't have to do any of this. All right. And then you can release that, set everything down on the earth, or bring the feet back in. If you're in a chair, bring the feet back to the floor, knees pointing out. And then rest for a moment, whether you're laying down or upright. Pardon, there is a knock on my door. I think my mother's returning. So I'll pause for a moment and let the noise happen. And I'm gonna mute my microphone for about 30 seconds and get my mom and greet my mother. And feel free in this moment to move or breathe in a way that resonates. I'm gonna take a breath because I'm returning to the space. All right. So from here, if you're on your back and the legs are outstretched, I'll invite you to invite your right or left knee into the body. And you can interlace your hands or find a grip below your knee or around your thigh as you pull the knee into the chest. And if you're on your back, I'll encourage you to create some space across the chest. The tendency I see here is to curl up and make the neck and the shoulders and the head work. And no reason to work any harder than we need to here. So see if you can relax the heart and the shoulders back onto the earth and just pull the leg in towards the chest. If you're upright in a chair, and I'll move back to my wall for a moment and pretend that I'm in a chair. Hopefully you can see me. You can lift your right or left leg up towards like the sky or your chest, and you can interlace your hands around your leg or your thigh and pull it in. If you're feeling another way that you want to move the hip or the leg and you're on the earth, you can come to hands and knees and then step your right or left foot forward with your back knee on the ground. And you can find a runner's lunge or a lunge. Your hands can come to the earth, to the inside of your right leg. And there's noise happening, y'all. Or you can frame your front foot like a pitcher and come up onto the fingertips. So you decide how you want to move and be in this moment. And if none of those words or invitation are making sense, do something different. Or do nothing at all. And wherever you are, we'll be there for about 5 breaths. As a reminder that you're not stuck. If you do something and it's not working or no longer serving you or feel supported or sustainable, give yourself permission to shift. Let's take one more breath wherever you are. And if, and only if and when you are ready, making this transition practical, and it doesn't have to be pretty, make your way back to your back or back to seated. And then take a breath. Or 2. And then when you're ready, when you are ready, you're going to switch or transition to the other side. So you can pull the opposite leg or knee into the chest if you're on your back. Again, encouraging you to see if you can find some softness in the back of the shoulders and across the heart. If you're in a chair, lifting the opposite knee up towards the sky or in towards your chest, finding a grip only if that makes sense. Or transitioning in your own time as safely as possible to hands and knees, stepping the opposite foot forward and finding a lunge. Either framing your front foot or coming to the inside of that front foot, depending on how much space you need. Adjusting your back leg as much as you need to. You may hear my mom's walker scurrying down the hall. And a dryer opening. Just one moment. Ma, I'm teaching. Excuse me and pardon me, y'all. You can see if the girls can put those things in my room. My mother has dementia. And then take one more breath wherever you are. Life may be happening. And then you can transition when you're ready back to seated or resting on your spine. And then I'll invite you to take 3 full expansive breaths wherever you are. Inhaling, pulling the lungs up from top to bottom, front to back, side to side, maybe even pausing that space right before the exhale. And then to maybe take 2 more. Please, let's take 5 more breaths here. I'll speak for myself when I say that I think this last election cycle has been bananas. The world seems to be speeding up at an inhumane pace. And maybe in this moment, we can give ourselves permission, as hard as that may be, to slow down. To do nothing. And then although it may seem like we are doing nothing, something is happening. And you can continue to be still and breathe here. You don't have to do anything else. But from here, I'll invite us to move our chests and our arms and maybe open up through the heart space a little. And this is going to look different for everybody. For those of us who are on our backs, I'll invite you to move back into that spinal twist that we did a little bit ago. Maybe by coming onto your back, bringing the knees into the chest, and then letting your knees or legs fall to one side. But instead of focusing on the twist, maybe focusing on softening and lengthening across the heart space, or what you perceive to be your heart space. If you're upright or seated, a couple ways to be here. You can reach your arms above you and then bend at the elbows and bring your arms into cactus or goalpost, right? And keep drawing your elbows back and breathing across the chest. You can look forward or you can look up. Another option, and I'll turn around here, is to reach your fingertips back behind you, stretching across the heart, even interlacing through the fingertips and pulling the thumbs away. Or maybe you're looking for movements. And if you're upright, you can bring your hands to your lap. And as you inhale, you can shoot your heart, guide your heart forward and up and look up. And on the exhale, you can kind of press your legs away, tuck your chin and around your spine. So seated cat-cow. So you can take some movement here, or you can be still. And we'll take about 5 to 7 breaths to move or to be. Moving in whatever way resonates. Take about 3 more breaths. And then You can come back to stillness if you were moving, or release your arms or your goalpost arms, or release the twist. And I realized I forgot to mention, if you were on your back and you had the legs over to one side, if you like, you can let the knees fall over to the other side and be there for a few breaths, just so things may even out, if you would like. Let's take one breath here. And then I'll invite you, when you're ready, to drop your chin towards your chest. If you're on your back, feel free to tilt your chin up towards the sky. And then bring your head back to center. If this feels okay on the neck. Inhale. And on the exhale, tilt your chin up or tilt your chin down. So nice and gently here, just moving the neck. The eyes can be open or closed. And then when you're ready, come back to center. And then whether you're upright or on your spine, you can bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. It doesn't have to make contact. So just stretching out the left side of the neck. Take 1 or 2 breaths here. Notice if the jaw is gripping or the shoulders are wanting to kind of creep up by the ears. See where you can soften. And then gently come back to center. And then tick-tock the other way. So let the left ear fall on or near the left shoulder. Maybe breathing along the right side of the neck. If at any point in time the breath becomes restricted, give yourself permission to back out or opt out or do something different. Let's take 2 breaths wherever you are. When you're ready, come back to center. Maybe take a breath. If there's something else that the body is calling you to do in this moment, whether that's head circles or stretching the arms out or taking another twist, I'll invite you to take the next 60 seconds to move in a way that feels good. Most of our cameras are off, so we can't see you. That means you can't see us. So give yourself to move and be in this moment in whatever way resonates. Or give yourself permission to give yourself a squeeze if that's what's needed, a shake, a yawn, a song, a sigh. And I'll offer from here one more shape before we rest, right? However, if you are done, you're done. Find rest now. But if you're on your back, the invitation should you choose to accept it. It's from your spine. Bring the feet to the floor with the knees pointing up. Extend your right leg up towards the sky. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee, making a triangle or a figure 4 shape. From a chair, stretch your right leg out in front of you. And then if you can, cross your right ankle over your left knee. And if that is not accessible, you can cross your thighs or cross your ankles and maybe fold over the legs if that's not too much sensation in the hips. If you're just upright on the floor, you can move to your spine and do that a variation that I offered, or lean back a little, stretch your right heel away, and then cross your right foot over your left knee. And you can do this upright. Wherever you are, I'll invite you to breathe into that right hip. Notice if there's any tightness, any resistance, any gripping. And as long as you're not feeling any pain, send your breath there. And take 3 full breaths. And then when you're ready, unwind in whatever way makes sense. And it might feel good to windshield wiper the legs or the knees, or stretch the legs out long, or do something different, because there may be a rebound or something happening in that hip if you chose to take the shape. And then in your own way and in your own time, transition to the other side. Left ankle crosses the right knee. And then once you get there and get settled, I'll invite you to take 5 full breaths. The timer starts when you are ready. And then after that 5th breath, unwind, uncurl, stretch out, move in a way that resonates. And then I'll invite you into rest, whatever that looks like for you. And if you need more movement or to discharge something else, give yourself permission to do that. But I'll invite you to either come to your side in a fetal position, using one hand as a blanket, the other as a pillow. Maybe coming to your belly and taking what we call crocodile or nap pose. You can make a pillow with the hands, resting your forehead down. You can come to your spine, of course, or you can take a seat. But the practice is done. Allow yourself in this moment to let go of the work And give yourself permission to be and rest and be held by the bed, the earth, the chair, the space for the next few moments. I'm going to mute my microphone for about 90 seconds. And while it will be silent, I am here holding the space. If you'd like, you can begin to offer a longer, deeper inhale and exhale. I'll invite you to maybe bring your hand or hands to your heart space or what you perceive to be your heart space, or you can touch into the earth or somewhere onto your body. Maybe noticing what's present there. It may still be grief, joy, or exhaustion. A reminder that joy, grief, exhaustion, all the things are a reminder of this human breathing body. The joy, the grief, the exhaustion, all the things are a reminder of our connection to one another. Present, past, and future. And I'll leave us with this desire, this prayer, this wish. May all beings be happy, joyous, and free. And may we all contribute to that happiness, that joy, and that freedom. And until the next time that we meet, whether in real life or virtual, thank you, amen, and ashe.
Thank you so much, Tan, for this nourishing time, for holding space and giving us permission to slow down. I felt my body relax for the first time in a long time, and I hope it helped the rest of you too. This is the first event of its kind, so it would be super helpful to get your feedback You'll receive a survey via email, and we'll paste it in the chat right now. And this month is about community and care, so join us for upcoming events, Together Time, a crafting circle, a cooking class, a cafe crip on self-care during stressful times. We're dropping the link to our link tree in the chat right now, where you can sign up and find us. Thanks so much, Ebony and Sonia, for bringing access to this event, and thank you all for being with us. We'll see you next time.